Hello, pumpkins! If you are new to my channel, welcome. My name is Caroline Ironwell, and I am a professional tarot consultant and certified coach practitioner. If you would like to book a reading, please go to www.carolineironwell.com and click on Book a Reading. The link is below. For the month of July, all services will be charged in CAD instead of USD, which is about a 15% discount, give or take, depending on the exchange rate that day. I hope you enjoy this video. Today we're going to be talking about something a little controversial. What again, Caroline? This is an important topic, and it's been something that I've had requests to talk about for some time. So I'm finally getting around to making this video. And that is on gems and crystals, and this isn't the video that a lot of you want me to make. Many want me to make the video of, here's my crystal collection, and here's how to work with crystals. And unfortunately, I can't make that video because I don't support the gem and crystal industry for a number of reasons. So let's talk a little bit about crystals. Crystals have been used in healing to some degree along many cultures for a long time. And of course, we're all familiar with the popularity over the ages of gold and silver, diamonds, things like that. However, crystals really didn't take popularity until about the 1970s, and then we see quartz being sold as a healing technique or a healing solution. Typically, when one attends a gem and crystal show, it's usually high-end collectors and such, or wholesalers. There's been this exploding market of the New Age community seeking crystals for healing purposes. The industry is massive. A single crystal can sell as high as $22 million. There are crystals that you can pay to go inside in like a spa. This is not a small industry. And in past years, celebrities like Gwyneth Paltrow have contributed to this growing field with things like her yoni egg, which is a jade stone that is placed where the sun don't shine in women still trying to stay monetized. I don't know why women's private parts aren't to be talked about, but that is something that Gwyneth Paltrow sells on her website, is this yoni egg of jade. The price of crystals has risen by 500% in the past 10 years. And there's a 65% increase in search engine traffic for gems and crystals, for crystal healing. The thought is, because we know that when a crystal is put under extreme pressure that it emits electricity, that if a person was to squeeze it hard enough that it would release this electricity. However, we don't find that to be the case. There have been some psychological studies and scientific studies on the healing powers of crystals. In one particular study, participants were asked to meditate holding crystals or holding glass that looked almost identical. And there was no significant difference found between the two, meaning any healing effect that does come from crystals tends to be placebo. That's not to say that something real is happening, but what's happening is inside the mind and the body and not the rock. Now, why am I against this? Well, number one, even though I read tarot, I actually try not to support pseudoscience, and tarot is an art, whereas when people need actual healing, they need to be going to a doctor and not a magic rock. I think that there can be some complementary medicines that are beneficial and that there is clinical evidence to support, but unfortunately crystals doesn't fall into that. When it comes to the magic use of crystals, and any crystal can be used for protection if you throw it hard enough. We have no control as to where these crystals can be found. They could be deep in the earth in a developing country. I try not to use the term third world. There's other issues behind that. Sometimes crystals do appear. There are large amethyst deposits in northern Canada, in northern Ontario. However, there are also many mines in other parts of the world that don't have very good environmental protection laws, and The way that these crystals are harvested and mined can be absolutely devastating to the surrounding environment for decades, if not permanently. If a large deposit of a crystal is found under a forest, under a protected rainforest with endangered species, because of some debt reduction acts in some parts of the world, then there's the atrocity of strip mining. Strip mining is when a giant hole is dug in the earth that you can see from space. Many of these places that are underdeveloped, the holes are just left. They're not covered up. When we think of searching for crystals, we think they come out of the ground like this, all little and pretty and shiny, and we think about like the gold rush, and you've got the gold miners, they've got the little pans, and they sift the sand, and there's little pieces of gold. That's not quite how it works with most crystals. Many crystals come out of the earth in massive, massive chunks, like bigger than your refrigerator. And then those massive, massive chunks get taken and cut up and put through a tumbler, which is incredibly loud, and then sold to various places around the world. And you get this. Crystals can be incredibly hard to trace. There's the place where they're mined. That mine may not be legal. A mining company could just decide, hey, we're not going to bother with permits. We're not going to bother with asking government permission. We're just going to dig a hole. And when they do so, that might not be legal. And so they're just taking it out of the earth with no care for the people or the land surrounding it. And then we also have the topic of who is digging these holes and who is mining these crystals. And very often it is the local people who are paid next to nothing. Sometimes they may even be paid nothing, i.e. slave labor. And these workers aren't always adults. Sometimes the miners are as young as 5 years old, breathing in toxic chemicals. They should be wearing respirator masks, but they're not always given that option. Respiratory issues become common, injury is common, and like I said, if these are in an underdeveloped country that doesn't have good protection laws, or if these mines are done illegally, the worker or the child may not have any course of action, and death within these mines is not uncommon. Now, there are some companies that do provide ethical sourcing. Kashi Stones is one company that does ethical mining. Now, I'm not sponsored by Kashi Stones. A few years ago, I had inspiration for a blog entry. I never made the blog entry. Here I am making the blog entry. So I did contact Kashi Stones and talk to them about their practices. They go into areas and they dig the holes. The company digs the holes themselves. They hire local workers and they pay them fairly. And when they are done, they cover the holes properly. So the workers are well treated, they're well paid, and the earth is left the way it was found. And they tend to dig smaller holes instead of the big strip mining holes that you can see from space. Another company that sources ethically is called Crystals from Peru. That's the name of the company. I will leave links to both of these companies below. However, most people don't think about where their crystals come from, and I think there's a real juxtaposition between saying, I love the environment, I want to care for Mother Earth, I am a steward of the planet, this is Mother Gaia, and here's a healing crystal that I bought for $10 at the local metaphysical shop, with no idea of how that crystal came into their presence and the amount of suffering that happened possibly because of the crystal industry. So I'm not telling you not to buy crystals. I am telling you to think about where they're from. I think that buying crystals used can also be an ethical way to do things if you know how to cleanse them correctly. If you're interested in energy work, we can do a video at some point on how to cleanse something, but I would encourage you that if you're buying them to not support the unethical industry and just ask questions. Ask, where was this sourced? And if the person selling it can't answer you, don't buy it. There may be more expensive options when you're talking about Kashi stones or crystals from Peru or other ethical sources. So I hope that this was an informative video. If you have any thoughts, please do leave a comment if this did open your eyes to the crystal industry. Thanks so much for watching. If you found value from this video, please consider supporting this channel by buying Merlin a TREAT at www.ko-fi.com/Caroline Ironwill. Look at that little face. You can also become a member and get access to exclusive members-only content, have voting privileges for upcoming videos, and even join our online coven to be launched in September. Please also subscribe. It really does help with the algorithm. You can book a private reading at www.carolineironwill.com. Just click on Book a Reading. Both links are below. During the month of July, all services are in CAD instead of USD. In case no one told you today, I love you, I am thankful for you, and I am glad you're here. Bye, pumpkins. Please give me a like.